Well, good morning everybody, and welcome to yet another training session. So I'll be giving myself my daily dose of tactics again, and hopefully I'll do a little bit better than yesterday when I was really a little bit slow and the puzzles were also quite difficult. So I'm going to try and let my intuition speak a little bit more. In chess, if your mind's eye recognizes a pattern immediately, then it doesn't make so much sense to first completely analyze the position. You can just try and play faster, but along the way, of course, you need to falsify if your intuition decision or the solution that is presented by your intuition is still correct. And then, of course, if somehow I get stuck in a position, then I can use my reason to try and find a solution. But the problem in chess is that normally there's so much information contained in a single chess position that it really does pay off on the one hand to let your intuition speak, so you can get to the core of the position faster. But on the other hand, not having that particular intuition for a certain position means that it can really take some time to figure out what is going on in a position. For instance, first to figure out what the material balance is, who's better positionally and why, because all these things are important for an eventual evaluation of a tactical line. But also then to figure out what the idea could be, the combinational idea, should you sacrifice something or not, is it about mate or not, or is it just about material gain or not? And of course, where are your targets, right? How many targets do you have? Is the king a target? Is the queen a target? And if so, how can you attack those pieces? And how should you combine ideas, etc., etc.? So, okay, without further ado, let's get going. Problem 311 is presented. Just a few more moves. Here we go. White to play just a few more moves. Okay. I'm looking at queen h5 because if you take that, it's rook g3 check, and then the king has to go into the corner, and then it's either knight f7 or g6. Double check and mate, so that should be good. Okay, check. And does it really matter? It doesn't, because it's a double check, and this is just winning. Okay, well, that's a nice puzzle. But I mean, you see, my intuition was at work there, queen h5, because how on earth could you otherwise find a move like queen h5 so fast, I suppose? From all directions, yeah. Well, I see knight f6 check. That's a double check, so only the king can go. It has to go to f8, and then it's bishop h6 checkmate. Okay. So maybe the theme is mate. Whoa, here it's a smooth mate in 5. Crikey the bikey. That's a lot, isn't it? Of course, we see the discovered attack along the b8 h2 diagonal. But where should we put the rook then? We can again... Yeah, we can give a double check on c8. Then the king could take that, and then there's queen c5 check. But I don't see how that wins. No, maybe I do see. Yeah, the king cannot go back to b8. So it's queen c5. Ah, this is quite nice. This is quite nice. I think we're just chasing the king all the way to the king side there. This, of course. And now you have to go here. And now this is a double-edged, double-sworded checkmate. It's very pretty to see how bishop and queen are cooperating there. The bishop on his own color, and then of course the queen on the other color complex. Check, check, and mate. Okay, I think it's this double check. Now you have to deflect the queen from e8, and then it's mate on e8. Rampaging rook. Rampaging rook. Well, if a rook is going to be rampaging, then queen g7 check, rook h6, queen g7 I like. The king has to take that, then it's rook g6 double check, and then it's king h7, rook g7, Yeah, that looks good. Let's go here. This is a double check. Now exactly where to put, I thought we had to put the rook here. And now we have to find the correct move. I thought there would be something here, but now I see that maybe there is still, if we... Oh, of course, this is a double check. Yeah, it's a double check. So, okay, for a moment there I didn't see that was a double check as well. So the rook can go to h7 without being, without fear of being captured on h7. Okay, here we go. Mate in 2. All right. Well, something to do there with the knight and the queen. Battery on the e file. Bishop d7 and bishop a3 are also involved. This one is difficult for me somehow. I just don't see the idea. I don't see the idea. Well, then maybe we have to try and be a little bit more systematic about it, as mentioned in the beginning. Oh, okay, I can set up a double check with knight d7, and then the double check would come from knight f6. Yeah, that would be a double check. So let's start with knight d7, which is a check. If he takes it, it's knight f6 checkmate. But he can also, of course, interpose something. But let's not forget that we're already up a piece with white. So in that sense, the position is maybe not so relevant. Well, queen and rook are attacked, so we should play quite precisely. But this should be the idea here. Okay, let's continue. We've done 8 so far. The knight is the star. Well, is he really? Yes, I think it's again a double check with rook c8. Oh, that's kind of pretty. If the king takes that, then it's knight b6 checkmate. If the king doesn't take that and he goes to a7, well, let me just go with my intuition move. Then it's this pretty nice move, and then indeed the knight is the star there at the end. Ouch. Oh yeah, this one's pretty. Queen g7, and then this one. Boom. That's a very nice one to remember. Mate in 3, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Let me just lure you to a double check square. And now this is the final nail to the coffin. Decoy sacrifice. Okay, queen f8, king f8, bishop f8, d6 double check, rook f8 mate. Here we go. Okay, these are very nice lines. This should go into a mate as well. I don't want him to escape to e7, so I'll play this move. And now I'll just have to find the final move. And the final move seems to be bishop c1 and then some bishop d1. Yeah, let me just double check that. I can also go f4, can't I? No, then he goes back to h6. That was the idea why bishop c1 is better. g4 can still be taken, but bishop d1 should do the trick. Oh, he says alternative. He wants to play the knight now. He now wants to play the knight, and then it should be knight f6. Okay, thank you. F-file. Knight to play. Ooh, difficult again, difficult again. Queen f8. Then he has to take that. Then there is a double check with knight e6 check. Yeah, okay, I think that's it. Check. Then there's this double check. And then there's this one. Now, careful. Where did my rook come from? Oh, It came from, yeah, okay, now yeah, rook f8 I wanted to play, but for a moment there I thought I didn't see the final solution. No, of course this is correct. I don't know what I was afraid of. Again, it looks like a queen g7 business, yeah? Because the bishop cannot take that. And this is a double check. He has to go again there. And this picture we know from yesterday. Black threatens mate on a1. Well, we don't care. We'll just give this double check business. Somehow these mating positions are a little bit easier than the ones I got yesterday. They're so forcing, yeah? Let's get started. Oh, but this is just about a winning material. This just picks up the rook on c7. This won't take you long. Okay, there's a pin on the d file here. I can take the queen on d8 if he allows me in one. This is mate because the knight is pinned. Forget about en passant. Yeah, okay, there is no en passant because the pawn is pinned, so it's mate in one. What am I supposed to do here? Checkmate? Yeah, checkmate, because the rook cannot defend g7. Haha, not so difficult. Time to get close. Okay, thank you very much. Now it's about pins, it seems. A pawn for a piece. Yeah, sure, he can take that pawn, but then I will take this piece. Okay. White's pinned queen looks a gunner, but isn't because of rook g1. That's a savior, a lifesaver. A piece up for grabs. Yeah, this is very nice. You lure it into the pin, and then you attack the pinned piece. The pin provides a fork. Okay, something with knight b5 or knight d5. What do they mean with fork? Where's the fork? Guys, where's the fork? Well, let's go with knight. Knight b5 check. He cannot go to the d file. If he goes to c8, it's knight d6 picking up. And if it is if it's king b8, it's queen a7, then he has to go back to c8, and again it's knight d6 picking up. Okay, so this should just win. Picking up the queen there, very nice. Loose piece as well, they tend to drop off. This time it's the loose one on b6, thank you very much. Absolute pins and relative pins. I want to go knight c6 check. No, why? Why do you want to do that? No, you want to go rook d7, don't you? But then knight d7. What's going on here? There's also rook b1. Ha, rook b1. Yeah, because that is with tempo. Rook d7 is not with tempo. Rook b1, knight d7 still. What's the solution there? Maybe just to drop the queen back along the diagonal to keep the black queen pinned. Okay, so this should be good. This is checkmate. Of course, knight d7 is much more testing. This is a classic. Okay, well, I mean, the g6 pawn is pinned. So yeah, very classic indeed. A pin and something in between. Okay, something in between. Well, this is a nice cross pin. This is the in-between check they're talking about, and this just picks up the queen, winning material. He who pins last. Yeah, he who pins last. My dear. Okay, so where could yet another crosspin come from? There's so many pieces on the 6th rank, right? If somehow we could get the king also to go to the 6th rank, then maybe I could play rook h6, and then, yeah, that would be winning. So how? There's something I'm missing here, definitely. How can we get How can we get the king, black's king, to the 6th rank? I have trouble seeing that. Let's just start with some checks, yeah? Rook a6 check. Well, you can just go... you can just go king b8. Rook b7 check. I don't see any other obvious tries. Wow, this one I just don't know. So let's, okay, he will show me the solution now. This one, okay, so let me just start with that one then. Now you can get the king there, because otherwise it's rook h8 check. How, I mean, how easy can it be? So now rook h6 is winning, of course. Oh, I first should get that rook out of the way with tempo and free up my b pawn. Okay, well that somehow didn't click with me. Let's go back a little. Why should we go back? This, well, okay, this is the next switch. Yeah. To get into a mating position? Yeah, okay, well. Wavering there a little bit. We've seen this one before, have we? Have we now? Okay, I think I can set up a pin here because I have 2 rooks, not just one. And then I'll go here. This is really pretty, yeah? And then fortunately I can recapture my queen on a3. So I've just won a rook. Very nice. Okay, opening lines. I need to get the pawn and the bishop involved somehow, so I need to lure away the queen. So what's nice? I mean, there's queen f6, d6, check, but I don't see how that wins, so it should probably be the other way around. Rook f6. And he can only basically take that with the queen, and then d6 is check, but he cannot take that with the queen because the queen is pinned. And he can also not maintain the defense of the queen on f6 then after that check. So it's rook here, and then this breaks up the defense because now I can take the queen. Okay, those were 34 variations, so we'll try to play 16 more. Who's spinning? Yeah, it's white. White to play. Ah, that's pretty. That's very pretty. Okay, this is very nice. So the idea is a bishop take bishop, then I take on e3 and on e6. The bishop can take not on f3 with check. If the rook takes on f3, then I'll just in between remove the defender of the rook of f3 with bishop d5 check, and then he can take that, and then I can immediately promote on e8 if I want to, or just pick up the rook first. So that's now very nice. A pin and deflection. Okay. The threat of mate on d1 the threat of mate on d1 appears to say black, but there is queen a8. That's a double hit on the rook, and it also means that the rook is pinned, so he cannot go to d1. And then it means that if rook takes queen, its pawn takes queen, which is safe. And of course there is no stopping rook d8, which promotes the pawn on the next move. So this is very nice. Here we go. Okay, next. Immediate victory, immediate victory. Yeah, well, again, the rook on f8 is pinned, so we can attack it a second time with rook f1. If the queen then takes the pawn, then it's mate on f8. And otherwise, I don't really see what you're going to do about a double exchange on f8 and the subsequent promotion of the pawn. So it must be rook f1 here. Okay, thank you very much. Pinned protector. Oh, that's beautiful. So we eliminate the defender. Oh, we have to do it the other way around. Yeah. Maybe there's also... Is there? Is there also a... Yeah, there's also a rook d7. Yeah, because that rook is overloaded. He cannot take because then I take on f8. Very nice. Now it seems simple. White wins a piece. Doran Kuipers, 1965. No more people. Yeah, oh, this is sort of fantastic, isn't it? Queen d4, beautiful. If you take the queen, I get to take the other queen, but in the meantime, I took a whole. This is a well-known trick. It's reversed from the queen's gambit trick. So we can take this one with the check, and now we're up a piece. Okay, he does have a pawn for it, but white should be winning. This is pretty. Can we just play rook a4, and then the next threat is b6, so he can go knight c5. I played b6 anyway, threatening to win. He takes my rook on a4, and b7 is mate. So rook a4, here we go. Well, I'm definitely much better rested than yesterday, I want to say, even though I do feel the puzzles are a bit easier. The e-file is the key. Yeah, so often. Okay, knight e6. Pawn takes, queen takes wins because the e-pawn is pinned. Knight e6, queen takes e6, rook takes e6 wins, but of course the big trick here is knight e6, queen takes queen, and knight c7 double checkmate. So that's very pretty again. Yeah, okay, so they want us to execute this one. So I've played 42 variations, so 8 more, I want to say. Winning endgame. Well, then it has to be this one, right? And again, there is a pin. 2 pins. White to play. Well, there's knight g6, isn't there? But then there's king g7, so what does that bring me? Let's see, what's going on here? Knight h5 is dangerous because rook g3 check picks up the queen, so we should not be doing that. The same for knight e6, rook g6 check. But then, what is this position about? I'm not really getting it. How am I involving my bishop also? For the moment, the bishop is pinned, and the other way to get into the position is via e5, but then I would have to lose a tempo with e6, and his threat is rook g3 anyway, so I need to be fast about it somehow. Maybe I need to move my queen. Well, this one is giving me a hard time, guys. 2 pins, yeah, so the h pawn is pinned. Oh, of course. I mean, what am I thinking that king g8 is a solution? I would just simply take the queen then with my knight. Okay, I'm not plugged in sufficiently, maybe. Well, I could be plugged in better, I want to say. A pinned pawn. So the c6 pawn is pinned, right? And we could start by taking on d5. If you take that, then at least we just win a very healthy pawn. Maybe there is more? I'm not sure if there's more, actually. Let's just play this. Come on. Now we can try and see if there's more. But after queen d5, rook c3 is a bit of a problem. So I think we're just going to go here. And now we're going to go here, and there may be a slight problem. Well, we can take on d5. But I'm a little bit afraid of the queen e1 check. Because there's king g2, there's queen e2, and if I don't want to allow a perpetual, is king h3, queen f1, and then, oh wait, I can go to h4, because the rook is pinned, so then I should be safe enough, I think. Okay, let's just go for that. Incorrect. Oh, that one! Of course, that's with a check, come on! Waldemar, use your eyes. Uh-oh. Yeah, well, that is much more convincing. Come on. 2 bishops will mate a lone king. But for that, I first need to win the knight. Thank you very much. Okay, here we go. A poisonous pin. So what's the pin? Well, the bishop is pinned, right? The bishop is pinned. Ah, okay. But also the rook on d6 and the rook on e4 are vulnerable. Oh, this is very pretty. So it's rook 1 to c6 that threatens to win the rook. So that rook must take the rook on c6, then a recapture with the pawn, of course, and then the pawn, the bishop on d7 is threatened. That's the pin we're talking about. So then if you try to keep up with white, rook takes f4, then it's pawn takes d7, and there is no way to stop the promotion, because if the rook goes behind on d4, it's d7, d8, discovered check, because the king is on the 7th rank. Okay, rook c6. That's very pretty. Here we go. Now he takes there, and then we take there. Very good. Weiger de donder. Okay, killer cross pin. Where to go? And not allow some sort of a check, huh? That's the big deal. Because is queen f4 achieving the same as queen f5, for instance? So queen f5 is the idea. Yeah, let's just do that. Okay. Maybe queen f4 was the same. And queen f4 allows, yeah, with a check after which the queens are traded. Yeah, okay, so that's what I was afraid of. An undefended queen. Okay, the knight cannot recapture to defend the queen anew, because that knight was pinned on e6, so that just wins. A composed pin. Okay, that's very beautiful. That must be this one, and now it's checkmate. And now we've played 50 variations. Accuracy 96. Pretty fast, I would say. So that was nice. Okay, we will stop here. 50 is sufficient for now. I hope you've enjoyed this session. Maybe we're able to solve some puzzles along the way together with me. Please, SLC, so subscribe, like, and comment on YouTube. Thanks for your attention, and see you in the next video. Bye.